What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. Sorry for the late start. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Smack it. Lay the smackdown on like, subscribe, share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Topics to be covered. Yesterday was Monday, and we talked about the delusion of feelings. And we got into why feelings are delusional. And it was deep. So you want to make sure you check that out. If you haven't seen it yet, you can podcast that later. But today, don't leave, stay here. Today, we're talking about how to spot a good female prospect. Now, before the ladies leave, it's not just for the men. It's for the men to figure out how to spot a good one, but it's also for the ladies to figure out if they are a good one. You know what I'm saying? So you want to stay and hear me out. And you can call in if you disagree, and we can talk about it. You can comment. You can buy me a coffee. You can do all that stuff, and we can get into it. But that's the topic today. 888-775-3773 is the call-in number if you would like to talk about the topic at hand or any topic in general, past shows, current shows, whatever you want to talk about, your daddy, your mom, your dog, whatever. We can get into it. If you can't call in for whatever reason, but you would still like to, or you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can send a super chat by going to the live chat box and hit the super chat button. You can super chat there, or go directly to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. The link is in the description. And there you can donate a donation in the form of a donut with your question or comment. And I will read them live on air. I'm really trying to make sure I'm really on top of that, because sometimes you guys, well, most of the time you guys really have some interesting things to say. And I don't get to address them in the moment because I'm caught up with trying to get to the calls and the message and all that stuff. But I want to be more aware of that, because sometimes it's really has a lot to do with the topic at hand. So I will be better with that if the Lord is willing, but I'm going to be more aware of it. Amazing stuff. So let's get to it. Let's not waste time. How you doing, chat? How you guys doing? All is well? Nice. How's it going? Instagram. We are live on Instagram as well today. Instagram, how you doing? Nice. They say great. Amazing stuff. So let's get to the topic at hand. So How to spot a good female prospect. What does that even mean? And this is actually by request. This wasn't, I didn't just think of this on my own. This was by request. Somebody asked me, they sent me a message and said, oh, you should talk about how to find a good female prospect. I don't know who it was, and I forgot. So I forgot to remember his name so I can give him a shout out. But because I've been getting requests, and I appreciate those requests. You can send requests in on topics you would like to hear. And if it makes sense, I will cover it. Because the one so far, I think I've covered like 3 or 4 in the past couple weeks just by request. So you can request if you like to, if you have a specific topic you'd like to get into or hear me talk about. So this is by request, how to spot a good female prospect. And, for a long time I've thought about, I've wondered, what does that look like, right? How do you know? And you really can't really know a good one or like one that you believe to be good, right? Unless you date a few. You know what I mean? You gotta like see what works and what doesn't, because if you only intellectually know, you're gonna end up not really doing what you think you know, right? You're gonna end up still yearning for the thing that you believe is not proper because you don't really know why. You don't really know why. So over time, just by dating and being in a relationship and all that stuff, I've just like did my best to just try to understand, okay, like what is the proper dynamic, right? And I'm still young, I'm still learning, so I could be wrong on things, you know what I'm saying? But this is just what I believe and what I see to be true. So I just simplified it down to a few, so that way I'm not rambling on here too long. I still might ramble. But I just try to simplify it down to a few so it's not like too much. So the first one, the first way to spot out a good female prospect, right? And the first one is the female, is the woman. I know I say female a lot. James is always on. You say female all the time. But the first thing is finding out, is she seeking? Right? Is she seeking? Now that's like a Christian word. So I'm not just going to leave it as seeking, but is she seeking? And what that means is like, is her heart open to overcoming, open to wanting to learn, open to wanting to be better, open to working on herself? Is her heart open? Because there are people in general, but females who have a hardened heart. Their heart is closed off, right? And they have anger, they have a lot of these emotions, but in a severe way because of their past or the things they've been through and these like false beliefs that they have, right? Their hearts are closed. So there's not much that you can tell them. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to be evil, do evil things, right? Especially if their heart is hardened, they're doing evil, right? And 100% of the time, it's just because they've been hurt, right? And they don't know how to overcome that pain, so they have revenge and all that stuff in their heart, right? So a closed heart, hang it up, keep it moving, dodge the bullet, because that's only gonna find you trouble. If their heart is not open, they will eat you alive, right? In the best way that they can. So their heart got to be open. And this is the reason why, another reason why the heart has to be open really quick is that a female with a heart that is open will not be afraid to pursue the man as well. She won't be afraid to pursue the man. And what I mean by pursue is let her pride and ego down and be a woman. Be able to accept that the man is the man. But also go out her way to maybe ask him questions, maybe to follow his lead. You know what I mean? Like, they're not afraid to pursue. They're not trying to play a game. Like, oh, I'll do this, so he'll do this, and I want him to view me as this. No. I like you, and I'm trying to get to know you. I'm trying to figure out what you're doing, what you're on, and if the female agrees and she sees that this man is who she believes him to be, then she follows him without any game or any weird type of dynamic being played. So she got to have an open heart, right? Doesn't mean that she's going to be perfect. Doesn't mean that she's not going to still have her like emotional fits and her womanly thing, the nature in there that's still like ego and, you know, doesn't mean that's not going to happen, right? But at least her heart is open. So moving on. She got to be seeking. Second one, this is like important. Number 2 is she got to be grounded. Grounded enough, right? And what do I mean by grounded? What does grounded mean? What does grounded look like? Grounded is like she's able to think for herself. She knows how to think for herself, right? And what I mean by that is that maybe by the way she was raised, maybe is that she's used to always just doing things without the help of others or whatever, but she's able to think for herself, right? She's not afraid to have an opinion, but she stands on the opinion, even if it's wrong. Even if her opinion's wrong, right? She can stand on it because that's what she believes. And if her heart is open, like we said in the first example, then she'll correct it if she's wrong, but she's able to stand firm. And the reason why it's great to be grounded, for a female to be grounded, right? It's great because she could take the heat, right? She can handle the criticism if it's necessary, right? She has tougher skin. She can handle it. She's not so sensitive, right? She's not so fragile. She can handle it. So sometimes when you throwing some, I'm not saying physical punches. Don't take it out of context. I shouldn't even said it. Not actual punches, but say if you're like, you guys are having you're having a disagreement, right? But you say, as a guy, you have your point of view and you're trying to explain it to her. And you may get a little loud, but not out of anger or nothing like that, right? But even out of anger, doesn't matter. Let's just say you do it. Then she doesn't break down and crumble, but she's also able to say what she thinks about it. And not disrespectfully, but just be able to take the blows. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the guy's going to make the mistake. He's going to make a mistake. Sometimes he might yell a little too loud. Sometimes he might be wrong. But she's got to be able to handle that. Give him the space to be wrong instead of being like crushed by his words and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So she's got to be grounded, a little stable, a little secure enough. That makes sense. That's number 2. TWPB with the super chat says, E-Black. Thank you, TW. Appreciate it. Chat, am I making sense here so far? Female like dog or animal? Not female. woman. Brooklyn says, let me see, sorry. Social media real estate lady says social media platforms have ruined the art of wooing and dating, in my opinion. Of wooing. I don't know what wooing is, but yeah, social media definitely has had an impact on dating for sure. So I agree. Real estate says, what does that even mean? Oh, I don't think real estate lady likes me too much. You say, you don't know anything about anything until you open your mouth and talk. I don't know. I don't know if this is if she's like doesn't like me or she's agreeing with me. It's hard to tell. Call in, real estate lady, 888-775-3773. And we can get into it. Okay. So she's got to be seeking and she's got to be grounded. Jessica says, great points. Right on. The third one, number 3, is lines are open, folks. You can call in 888-775-3773. The third one, number 3, is she has to be honest. Honest. What does honesty mean? Full accountability. Ooh, I know that's asking for a lot. Full accountability. Admits to being wrong. Is able to admit to being wrong. Right? And yeah, it's great if she can do it right in the moment, right? But sometimes that's hard to do. But at least she'll go back and think about it a little bit and come back and be like, hey, look, I was wrong. I acted out of character. I got caught up. Boom. She has to be able to admit that she's wrong. All people do. But the female women really struggle with being honest. It's really, really, really hard for women to be honest because women have a lot of pride. And that oftentimes comes from there's a lack of security, right? So they have this judgment upon themselves, and that lack of security makes them sensitive. So when somebody tells them they're wrong or they're criticized, they want to protect their ego. So it's hard for them to be honest with themselves because they're afraid that if they're honest, they're going to either look bad or view themselves as bad. And that's all a false reality, right? Honesty, and it's cliche, but honesty sets you free. It sets you free. You have peace about being honest with yourself, about even the things that you see as negative, because it's not negative. It just is what it is, right? But she has to be honest, and that is so important. She's got to be able to be honest, because if she's not, she will not overcome and she will not learn from the past situation. She will not solve problems. And she'll repeat the cycle. And she will not overcome. She has to be honest, right, Marie Ubaldo? Marie Ubaldo says, good morning, Joel. Good talking to you. Hope all is well with you and you're amazing. God bless you. Thank you, Marie. Marie, what do you think about the topic? Am I right or am I wrong? Joel blue-pilled like a mug. What's blue-pilled mean? Hassan, you know what blue-pilled is?
I think that's like bad.
Oh.
I think it's like trying to say you're liberal.
Oh.
Basically a curse word around here.
I know. Thank you, John Frederick, for saying I'm blue-pilled. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're blue-pilled.
I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right because John Frederick normally has some criticisms about me, but that's okay. I accept. I accept your criticism. Amazing stuff. You see, guys, I see how I'm checking super chats because I just want to make sure that I'm catching the ones that are on topic right now. Amazing stuff. Nice. So she's got to seek. She's got to be seeking. Her heart has to be open to learning and growing. She's got to be grounded in the truth. She got to be able to take the blows, and she's got to be honest, full accountability with herself and in the relationship when it's necessary. She's got to be honest. Those three are important. And I'm going to add a little bit more to what it's like dating a Christian. I dated a Christian woman before. I dated a non-Christian. And I want to get into the differences. Oh, there's some differences. So I want to get into that as well. But before I do that, let me take some calls. Cool? Let me take some calls. Let me go to Alex, a first-time caller out of Massachusetts. Alex, welcome to the show. You're on air.
Hey, Joel. What's up?
How's it going, Alex?
Good, man. Yeah, I wanted to talk about number 3, honesty.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's, I think as men going forward, you know, we're definitely looking at, we have a different mindset now where we want to find a woman who wants to share a journey with us. And the only way we can do that together is if the woman is honest. You know, because if you two aren't both on the same page, then it's like, you know, are you really working together? You know, I'm sure you've had this in the past. I have too, where it's like, you don't know really where your woman stands, and you might be kind of, I don't know, sort of wondering, you know, how she feels about you or even where she is and all that kind of junk.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, I think a lot of men our age, I'm 36. Yeah, I think you might be a little bit younger, but I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And that,
we're close in age.
Yeah, okay, cool. That, you know, we want something where, you know, it's going to last longer. It's actually, you know, we want to go on a journey. And if the woman wants to sign up for that, you know, you want to, you know, hopefully find someone who is willing to, you know, take that leap and be honest when she can, you know, even when it feels uncomfortable. I don't know what you thought about that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree that in general, just no matter what the case is, even when it's uncomfortable, as a matter of fact, that's when you really need to be honest, because the uncomfortable part is what keeps like a lady locked into not wanting to be honest. And it doesn't mean in that moment she necessarily has to reveal the truth to the man, but she can at least be honest with herself and admit to whatever she did or whatever she's doing. So that way she's free of it and can get into the habit of realizing how important honesty is. So yeah, honesty is very key in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, as we know, it's like that's really the hardest thing for us to do as men, too, is to be honest, especially, you know, when it really, really isn't, you know, easy to do. And I don't mean like, you know, it's like we have to stop ourselves from being, you know, outright liars, but it's more like being truly authentic as to what the truth is in a given situation that might be it might be hard to be honest with it. And that's where like the real growth comes.
Can you give me an example? I don't know quite what you mean by that last part.
Like when you have to say something or do something that's not with the clique.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women are cliquey, but so are men too. That's the thing, And when you decide to break a clique and, whatever you're doing, you might lose what you thought was respect of your peers, your friends. For the woman, it's her friends. It can be kind of scary to do, but if you're willing to take a stand and not worry about how maybe your peers would react,
right?
And when you're doing that, when you decide to take that step, you're putting the relationship first.
Interesting, Alex. I appreciate that. I appreciate the comment, and I agree. Honesty is probably, if not the most important of the three, is right up there. So I appreciate it, Alex. Thanks for the call. Call me again, man.
Right.
Have you called any other shows?
JLP a few times.
Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you watching. Call me again.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, man. Bye. Yeah. I get what he's saying. I understand it. There's a few comments here that I have to get to. On Instagram first, and then I'm gonna get to some of these YouTube ones, because the YouTube ones are funny as well. Yvette on Instagram says, Joel, are you in a relationship? Are you speaking from personal experience? I am speaking from personal experience. And I can't tell you if I'm in a relationship or not, though. That's personal. But I know you're not asking with an agenda. At least I hope not. Yvette goes on to say, I disagree, Joel. I believe it is true for the opposite. Women are too open and honest. Let me think about that. Women are too open and honest. Sometimes women are open and honest, meaning like they wear their emotions and their feelings like on their sleeve, right, so to speak. And which I love that. I love that. I love when it's being worn on the sleeve. And only because the reason why I like it is because it's revealing. It tells you what they're dealing with. Now, it shouldn't be out of control, right? But I like knowing what's going on, so you know how to approach the situation. But I disagree in the sense, Yvette, that women are truly like open and honest about spiritual things, because the spiritual things tend to be the ones they're more typically more afraid of diving into because of the harsh judgment they have over themselves about it, right? So I think from my experience, I've seen that it's been very difficult for many women to really go there and be honest and be straight up about, their condition, the evil that lives within, right? And admitting to the wrongs that they do and the games that they play sometimes. And I'm not picking on women. This goes for men too, but just for the topic at hand. A lot of times women don't want to admit that side, right? They don't want to look at themselves as, having that evil within them, doing weird, evil things, right? Playing with the man's children, meaning like taking the man's children from him, right? Or different examples. There's many examples, but yeah, women have to be honest about that. Yeah, I did that. And yeah, I was doing that because I was trying to hurt you. those kind of things, those harsh realities, the ones that are like, and they're not even harsh, right? That's made up, but it's like those things that like you really got to admit to, they don't. And that's because women are very prideful. So that's what I mean. I hope that makes sense. And then on YouTube, I should have read this one first because I think I lost it now. Lucas said, I found it. Joel wants a woman that's honest, owns up to her mistakes, accountability, and will listen to orders. Joel, I'm doubting you ever dated a woman. So basically he's saying that woman doesn't exist. It's not out there. Listen, I ain't saying it got to be perfect. I'm just saying that those qualities have to be there at least, right? At least in its like infancy, if that makes sense, right? They just have to be there. Doesn't mean that they got to be perfect, right? But you got to be able to see those qualities have to be there for both people, really. Or else it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to be toxic. Because without those things, there's no order. There's no order to life without those things. There has to be order or your relationship won't be in order. You won't find peace in a relationship. There has to be order. At least walking in the direction of the order, right? Because it's not going to be perfect. You know what I mean? And the people who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. I'm going to get back to some calls, but let me read some more chats. Let me see what you guys are talking about here. C-Sal says, I want to see what C-Sal is saying here, because C-Sal's married, and she's a woman. She says, yes, those qualities aren't that uncommon. In LA, though, I have no idea. I'm from a small conservative town. That's what C-Sal says. So C-Sal agrees that those qualities are uncommon, aren't uncommon. Right? Everything is fake, says Joel. You should invite a woman to do a show with you. That would be interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll have a female guest on the show. Oh, maybe like a female co-host, I think he's talking about. That would be interesting. That would be fun, actually. A female co-host that can handle, that's able to have a conversation without taking things personal. Or at least too personal, right? That'll be an interesting show. Because then you'll be able to really see the female perspective. Something to think about. Matthew says, from my experience, women just want a husband and his income so bad. They fake it to make it and just put on a show and don't be themselves until they got him. That's a scary thing. That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. That and the initial stages of excitement. Those things are scary. And I'm just like saying scary to make a point, right? Because those things have the man on the pedestal. And if a man's on a pedestal, you're not going to get the real woman. You're not going to get the real woman. Because she's moving in such a way to impress the man because she wants the man, right? But she wants the false version of the man. She wants this idea of this man, right? So she is acting and pretending and moving a certain way because she's trying to impress him. And that's not the real deal. So you'll think that you have this like, this woman that is like in love with you but she's in love with the idea about you. And as soon as she sees the truth, she's judging you and she's out. She's out of there. And then you're left with just like, but I thought. So that's why that's scary, because you gotta be, that's what I'm saying, you gotta look for these qualities. Is she seeking? Is she grounded? Is she honest? Because if she's not, it'll be a similar experience that I went through, and I'm gonna talk about it after I take a call. Let me get back to some calls. Let me go to William, a first-time caller. Oh, not a first-time caller. What the? That's my fault. William out of California. Welcome to the show, man. You're on the air.
It's your boy, man. I ain't new.
I know. My bad.
How you doing, man?
All is well. How's it going?
All right. Just checking your game. You know, man, you said something the other day about this kind of thing where you said, sometimes you have a feeling of being ready, but you're just not pushing it.
Have a feeling of being ready. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
Relationship-wise.
Have a feeling.
Like you feel like sometimes you want somebody, and then I'm not doxing you.
Yeah.
But you say sometimes the feeling comes up where you do want somebody there, but you're not pushing it. I think I heard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that comes up here and there for sure.
Yeah. That's true, man. You know how many years I did that? But now I'll have to tell you the truth. It's really refreshing when you finally realize that you can exist and want without reacting to everything you see.
Yeah, that's so true, William.
You know, and
that's so true.
Now, I don't know. I have been in some situations where the both of us like the idea of being with each other.
Yes, sir.
But you're not really ready there.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you have to do. I don't know. You have to kind of look at, see where you're at in life, and then you take a look at where that person's in life, and that will probably keep you away from that, person that just likes the idea of being with you.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because that's
emotionally, financially, everything. Because after a while you can tell who's with you for what reason,
right?
And then you kind of get a little better at it. And I never forget a few years ago. I never forget getting up from a dinner table one time on a date, and my red flag just went up so fast, and it was just one term that I don't hear women say it as much anymore, but it used to be one of these sayings that they used to have. I'm not about any drama. I just can't take it.
Yeah.
I think I got up from a dinner table one time and said, "Check, please," to one lady. I thought about it later, and I said, "Man, come on, Will, you could have did that a little bit better."
Yeah.
But I have been through that, and I've seen that,
No, and that's part of the learning process, like you said. But what's crazy is that, there's those times, like you're saying about the feeling thing. There's those times where, the want is there, and then you have to, like, realize, okay, like, is it the proper moment? And I've definitely been in those situations, because then you're interested and you like the person and you're liking where it's going, but there's always, because the thoughts will come in like, well, then I might have to throw the ring on this one. But there's always like within that, if you pay attention, there's always that that thing that knows that it's not time yet, right? And I knew in those moments that that I didn't have that green light to let's keep it going. And those things have saved me, to be honest, because I realized that after the fact, so after the relationship didn't work out, that I was good to trust that inner gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and you have to be able to know that, like you said, you got to be able to be disconnected from the wants, even though it's
Right.
there, and be able to see like, okay, but the logic of the situation, are we in this position to do that? What's that going to come with? So yeah, that's like super important.
Oh my God, yes. I just think back at some of the things that I had to go through and have done, you know, and I think back on all of those things, and sometimes I laugh, sometimes I cry, but I look at some of the things that I've done and pushed up on the wrong young ladies and pushed it really hard and end up like one time. I pushed on one so hard, and she said, finally, let's go ahead and go on a date. And we went to a movie or something, and it was The Nutty Professor. And I was not in a laughing mood.
Yeah.
But that movie was funny, and can you imagine me sitting there trying to hold it? Because I'm thinking right when we sat down, this ain't the person for me, and I need to put on a hard persona here so I can give her the message that this ain't it. And I'm sitting there holding this laughter, looking at this crazy movie. That's the one with Eddie Murphy. And I'm just like, how do you get yourself in these situations, William?
Yeah.
But, you know, as time goes on, you learn.
Exactly.
You learn. You learn from your mistakes and everything, you know.
Exactly, man.
Shout out to Red Dirt Farm and Seasal.
Right on.
And the chat. You know, Mr. Pink and all of them. And everybody have a good day.
Thank you, William. I appreciate it. Good comments.
All right. Keep
man.
up the good work, Joel.
Thank you, brother. Bye.
All right.
Yeah, man. Disconnected from the feelings. Doesn't mean you're not going to have them. I'm telling you. If I know for a fact that you can feel those things, even though we're supposed to overcome these feelings, right? But I know for a fact that when those feelings come up, you can be disconnected from them. And you can be aware of you can see them for what they are and still not follow the trap. And sometimes you may here and there get bit, but you grow and learn. Right? Now you know what the fire feels like. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't mean just because you're waking up you won't get married or these things won't happen. It's just you're aware now. You're more aware as you're overcoming. As you're overcoming, you're more aware. So you won't be lost in being subject to feelings and all that stuff. But I got buy me a coffee. I'm trying to be efficient here, guys. I'm trying to be efficient. Buy me a coffee. Lamps with 3 donuts. Thank Lamp says, what would you do if your spouse called into a live radio show and told all of your personal stories and business? Then he tried to plug somebody's websites. I can't say that. What the? But what would I do? For one, she would get hung up on. For two, there would definitely be a conversation that would have to be had afterwards. And for 3, I would question myself, why, what did I do wrong to make her think that was okay? That's what would happen. Especially if we've been involved, like we're involved. Now, if it's you're dating and it's new and she would do something like that, then you can kind of understand it. But if we're involved like that and then she does that, you gotta question yourself too. Like, what the? Let me go to a call, one more last call. Not one more last, right? But let me go to a call and then I'll maybe finish this last part about dating a Christian and non-Christian. Man, so many questions or comments on Instagram and YouTube that I just can't get to. That's why you guys can call in if you like, 888-775-3773. But we are low on time. But you can also, I don't know. I'll do the best I can to read them. Steve from New Jersey, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem.
So with your points that you were bringing up, obviously a woman still has to be an individual to herself at the end of the day. But I've been kind of wondering this lately because a family friend of mine, she asked me this question the other day, kind of a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Do you think a woman can obey her boyfriend, husband, or whatever, but still not obey God? And so, like, in a way, be fake about the, like the obeying and all that stuff and like the respecting and everything you mentioned, but it's still not like an actual change of the heart and an overcoming of the nature.
Well, then it's not obeying. If I'm understanding what you're saying, it's not obeying, and you'll be able to recognize that. You should be able to recognize that as well. She can't. That doesn't make sense to. If she doesn't obey God, she doesn't respect men. She doesn't respect men in general. She doesn't understand. She doesn't have an understanding of the light and what obedience means in the first place. So, no, they have to go together.
Right, because what I've seen for myself is a girl can give you the illusion that you have the control, that you're leading, you're doing all this, but she could still emotionally manipulate you, like William was saying about being able to see those emotions, and I've caught this myself. I've seen it happen, but you see the emotion of you think you're leading, like I said, you're in charge, you're doing this, but she's just doing all of that to satisfy something else in her.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what the point you're trying to make. Yes, that for sure can happen, especially if like us men go unconscious, or whoever is being done on, right, goes unconscious in the feelings of the whole situation. Totally. They'll get caught up and see that, the female is just saying the right things and doing the right thing, because she knows that that's what you're into, the obedience and trying to be all these things, and then can try to trap you in that way. Even if it's not conscious, like she's trying to I'm going to trap him, but just that nature within. So I definitely think that the pretend version of obedience is possible and does happen oftentimes.
Right. I agree with that. So I guess, to sum it up as a point, because I think like for women, if, thinking about this question is not try to fully submit to even though you should, take his lead and let him do all that stuff and follow, but still recognize your own self and submit to God rather than just the man that you're marrying. Is that kind of what like a woman should really do?
Steve, 100. See, this is the point that I was making earlier on the show by saying grounded, right? Being grounded, because the female, great point. The female has to be grounded enough to be able to make her own decision properly. She has to have a relationship enough, meaning like she has to be able to recognize the true spirit within enough to be able to have her own mind, because she will follow a man blindly, right? Let's just say she'll follow a man blindly and it not be real. It'll be all based off of feelings and emotions, because as soon as you disagree or as soon as you do something she doesn't like, she's going to go all over the place. She's going to go crazy. So she has to be grounded enough to be able to have that separation from the man, be inspired by the man, but have that separation enough to know like, okay, I'm going to follow this man type of thing. So I agree 100%.
Yeah, I like that. You put that simply for me. She's got to be grounded first before she could even think about any of that other stuff. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, Steve. Thanks for calling in and making that point. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
No problem. Call me again. Bye. Man. And I love the way you put it. In that way of the story he explained. Got to be grounded. It's not about a woman just following the man in the name of following the man. No, because you're going to have hell in that way too, because she can be following you and she could be saying she's following you and she could be actually meaning to follow you, right? But if she's not grounded enough to know what's real and what's not, she's not really following you. That's why these things are so important. That's why I'm not making this up, y'all. I'm not making this stuff up. She's got to be grounded enough, not perfected, not this perfect thing, grounded enough to have space and to have her own opinion. Because she has to be able to hear, she has to be able to know what is right and what's wrong. She has to be able to know these things. And I dated a Christian woman. Decent, and she was decent. She was decent, meaning like she was decent. I'll just say that. And and she was seeking, heart was open, and she tried her best to be honest, but she wasn't grounded, right? She wasn't grounded. So what happened was, when I would say certain things that I would bring up and I would share with her, like truth or whatever, right? Wisdom. I would say it. She would agree, right? Because she knew it was true, but she just only knew, she intellectually knew, right? So she was riding on the wings of this intellectual knowledge of it, but it didn't really hit the spirit. So she was riding at the intellectual thing, following and like trying to do the right thing. And she meant well. That's why I said she was decent, because she meant well by it. But as soon as stuff hit the fan in any kind of way, she was like the balloon with a bunch of helium, and then you let it out and then it's like this. She was like that all the time. And it was like the scripture in the Bible. When you give the words, the flower withers up, but it's on rocky soil. So when the wind comes, it blows away. She wasn't grounded in good soil. So that, if she's not, you're going to have problems. And there's no offense to her. It's not personal on her. I got to end. It's not personal on her, but it's that it can't work because her emotions, she's not grounded in truth. Her emotions are guiding her and leading her, and she's going with the wind. She's left or right. And then you'll end up having to walk on eggshells. I've been through it. And she was a Christian, right? And she meant well. And I mean, and respectfully, I do this. But sometimes the non-Christians, the ones that don't think are Christians, are more Christians than the Christians that say they're Christians. It's jacked up. Satan is involved in everything. But I got to end. Man, I love how interactive Instagram was with me today. I appreciate it. And the YouTube chat as well, super chats, all that stuff. Thank you, guys. I got to end, but guess what? I'm back here tomorrow, and we back at it. So save your question or comments for tomorrow. You can call in tomorrow as well, and we're back here at the same for another show at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Got to end. American Anchor Baby is coming in right now. He has another amazing show as well. Make sure you switch over to his channel. Until next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.